Banjo Land, Mike Heading here. Today I've got a little mini banjo lesson for you. I'm calling this the theme time lick lesson, and we're going to talk about the B part of a famous banjo tune called Theme Time that uses a banjo lick over a series of chord changes. And it's a really cool idea. Actually, a lot of jazz musicians use ideas like this where they'll play a riff over a series of different chord changes. So really cool stuff here. I'm going to break the lick down and then show you a bunch of kind of right hand variations you can do and the basic positions and how to move the lick around so you really know it. Alright, hope you enjoy. Here we go. Alright, so let's start breaking down this theme time lick, and we're going to start on a C chord because that's where the B part starts. So let's start by just getting the left hand down, and then we'll work on the right hand, and I'll show you a bunch of different rolls and pinches you can do to fill up the B part. Okay, so we're going to start with just a 2-finger C chord. And I'm going to leave my second finger off because it's going to help me do the next move. So I'm just using my first finger on the first fret of the second string and my third finger on the second fret of the first string. So that's my first position. So you can just do a pinch with your index and middle just to get the position down. Okay, then my next move is I'm going to slide my third finger up to the third fret, and I'm going to let my second finger of my left hand take over on the third fret of the second string, which will sound like this. Again, I'm just doing a pinch with my index and middle of my right hand. So that's the first move. You slide up and then you let your second finger take over. And I'd resist the urge to go into a bar chord or something like that. I see some banjo players do it that way, and I think it's a little bit more restrictive, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. I would try my left hand fingerings first, and then if they don't work for you, then maybe try something else. But I think these are the easiest ways to do this lick. So again, I'm going to slide up, let my second finger take over. Then I'm going to slide up one more fret and keep that same shape. And then I'm going to slide up one more fret and keep that same shape. So let's go backwards. And basically the essence behind that lick is we're doing this C, and we want to get up to this bar chord, C. That's our target note is up there. And we're just doing that with different fingers to be able to make it easier to play that. Whereas if I had to slide up this way, it's also harder to go backwards that way once I need to get back down. Also, if I do it this way, eventually I can start grabbing other notes. You know, I have all these access to these other notes, whereas if I just do it this way, I can really only grab notes that are higher. I can't grab any notes behind my first finger. So that's something to think about when you learn these licks, is what left hand fingers are you doing? Are you making it easier on yourself or harder? So that's the move. And we're basically going to do that same lick over 4 different chords. And that's what kind of cool about this song is we're basically taking a lick and then playing it over different chord changes. Very similar to how like a jazz player or a jazz musician might do it, where you play a lick over a series of changes. We're basically doing a banjo version of that. So our first lick is over the C chord. Now we're going to do it over a G chord. So go up to the 8th fret on the second string, 9th fret on the first string, and really important, use your same 2 fingers that we were using for the C. Okay, so we're going to do it up on a G now. So same fingers, slide up 1 fret, let your second finger take over, slide both up 1 fret, and then slide up both up 1 fret. So that's the G. Now we're going to do that same thing over an A chord. So slide down to 10 and 11, same shape. Now over a D chord, so all the way up to 15 and 16, way up there. And that's our lick. That's the B part of Theme Time, and that's just the song I use to remember this lick. Nothing important about that song. You don't even have to know that song if you don't want to learn the lick. You can use the lick in a lot of songs. So let's do it a little bit slower. One more time, here we go. Let's do the changes. So we got C, G, A, D, and then we're back to G. And once you get this lick down, you can do it anywhere, and that's why it's so important to use the same fingers. You know, you can do it, you don't even have to know what chord it is. You know, that'd be E, for example, F. You know, once you get it down, you can move it around wherever you want, and that's why it's so important to use the same fingers, because it'll make the lick seem the same, and you don't have to learn, you know, 12 different licks for each key. You can do the same lick in each key very easily if you do it that way. Okay? So now let's look at adding some right hand. So one way I do it is I just do pinches. And then right here I like to do kind of the Foggy Mountain breakdown roll, or a variation. So you pinch, and then your thumb comes down. So you pinch, then you do thumb middle, and then you do a forward roll 5, 2, 1, 5. So it sounds like this. And you can also do a little hammer on at the beginning if you want, like this. But you don't have to do that. And now same thing over a G. A, same thing. D. And then you're back to open. Something like that. So let's look at a few other ways we can imply that melody line with different right hand patterns. So let's just practice going between those, and you don't even have to do all the different moves if you want once you get it down. Watch, maybe I'll just start by going between, you know, maybe I'll just go between those two. Doing that same Foggy Mountain roll, pinch, and your thumb comes down, thumb middle, and then a forward roll 5, 2, 1, 5. So that's a good one. And what you want to do is, again, use these as positions. Don't worry so much right off the bat what you're doing with your right hand. Just practice moving around. Use your fifth string. Staying on them for different amounts. So what I recommend is don't worry too much right off the bat about using the fifth string. Just use it, you know, even if it doesn't technically work in the key that you're trying to play in. One, it'll sound okay when you're doing it fast, and two, when you're just learning the lick, you just got to get the lick down. So don't worry about the fifth string for now. So practice different rolls. Different timing. The other thing you could do is some slides in between them. Something like that can sound good. Very similar. Lots of songs use this. I mean, Lonesome Road Blues uses that kind of idea. Same position idea. That's why it's so important to use the same fingers. It'll really help you connect all the songs that you're learning. That's another one obviously you can do, is you can walk up and then do that little lick. So it's a bend at the 10th fret. So that once you get that move down, you can do that in any key as well. You know, so once you get it. And that's why, again, like I said, always use the same fingers, at least at the beginning. That'll really help you learn the lick. So what I would do is practice moving it around. Set up a section of chord changes, you know, really challenge yourself. Maybe C, F, and G, or, you know, G, C, D, or whatever changes you want to practice, and see if you can find that lick and do it between those changes. So let's do C, F, and G, for example. So there we go, C, F, and G. So practice that move between a bunch of changes. The reason I like this lick is because you get you moving all around the banjo. It gets you figuring out how to play the same lick over different changes, and it's not that hard, and it sounds like you know a lot about the banjo, which is really cool, I think. Okay, so give that some practice. All right, good luck.